Okay, I'm fighting Sophie. Sophie's like, Mom, why? Did I not get more water? Crap, it's okay. I still have some. Hey, why don't you just kind of turn that? There you go. Into the flue, fat boy. Perfect. Okay. All right. Last section. Good lord. I mean, yes. Also, just so everybody knows, I am definitely not doing the late stream tomorrow. I cannot do marathon streams 2 days in a row. But I will still stream I'll still stream tomorrow. But I'm not going to be doing the chill stream. Either that or I'm going to cancel the early stream. Because we'll have finished this game. So, we'll finish this game. And then we'll not do the early stream. And then I'll do the chill stream. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. I'm not going to do the chill stream. I'm going to enjoy myself. Maybe I just won't stream tomorrow at all. I don't know. I'll let you know. Look, I might be dead to the world most of the tomorrow, okay? All right. This is longer than I even did for my birthday stream. Oh, Lord. All right. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Again? Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run and roll around while on duty, and to top it all off, you call me here. I see happy people at funerals. I take it Lana's having you run errands again? Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law? Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. I like the little, detective chickie on the front. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right? Seems so. Killing studies of evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Evidence law. Securely slipped into pocket. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. Wow, so much. Okay. Rules for submitting evidence. No evidence should be shown without the approval of the police department. Rule 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. So, the things that we used for Emma technically are unregistered. And we don't have the approval of the police department. So, the way we present them must be relevant to the case. Alright. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat? Despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out she's unwittingly caused a man's death, and now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Man, I love these games. I gotta get the early one, too. The Ace Attorney Chronicles or whatever. Alright. February 25th. District Court, courtroom number 9. I think we get a reset on our attempts. Thank God. Alright, here we go. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth, Yes, Your Honor. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well... normally, this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. But, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses. I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking, and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls. The time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Ba-na-na-na-na-na. The defense calls Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. All right, bailiff. Please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? But please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Oh, Binary 9, thanks for the raid. I appreciate it. Hi. Welcome in. We're trying to finish this trial. I've been streaming for like 11 hours. No? 9. I've been streaming for 9 hours straight, trying to do a single trial, and I'm starting to lose my mind, but it's okay. It's fine. We're finishing this game tonight, so I don't care. What were you playing? What were you playing before you came to see me? 10 is right in 5 minutes. Oh, God. I have no idea. Look, time has no meaning. Oh, did you start the... Oh, it's so... This is the... Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Now then, Chief Gant. I am in the DLC that is between the first game and the second game, is where I am. Now then, Chief Gant. The course requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto. What's with the grim face? So, the saved just before. Yeah, no, this is like the very, very end. So, big spoilers. Worrisome. If you don't want spoilers, I love you. Don't hang out with me right now, because I don't want to spoil it for you, because it's so good. Yeah, I just figured out, like, maybe 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, that I could save in the middle of court trials. I did everything without saving in the middle. I had to restart several times. Alright. Here, Sophie, let me give you a scratch. Yeah, hop out. I don't want to spoil it for you because I know how much I enjoyed it, you know? Oh! There's another one. This is Sophie, and then this is Otter. Oh, yay! Thank you for the follow. We met our follower goal. We made it to 160. Yay! It's super exciting. I gotta do something super exciting tomorrow on stream for that. Oh, very exciting. All right. Hi, Sophie. Excuse me. Got Otter. Super hype. I'm so excited. Thank you so much. Awesome. All right. First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Yeah, no. Have a great stream. I will make sure to note your name because I want to follow you and then I want to watch what you do too. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Jesus. Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. Can I be both? Can we choose both? I think we're both. We're both. Both? Both. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal? Weapons? Sure. Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. Alright, testify. Let's go. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. It's fine, Otter. That's fine. You can stay up here. That's fine. Just don't fight over the bed, please. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. No, but you kept the crucial piece of evidence in a safe in your office, and then used it to blackmail Lana so that she would be at your beck and call for the last 2 years. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. So unfortunate. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. The police chief has the right to refuse to testify. Then I'd better hit him hard and fast. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him. I don't know if me pressing... Alright, so first of all, let's save real quick, because I don't know if me pressing is gonna cause problems. So... to make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Okay, so let's go back and we're gonna press. This is a very, very concise testimony. Alright, press. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that. Was the defendant, Lana Skye, also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. Bop! So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first, so Neil and I split up. He went upstairs, and I went downstairs. Guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden, and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went into his heart, though. Oh, God. That's not funny. Except that if the power went out, how did he make it up to the 15th floor before the power went out? Something feels weird. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor? Yes, apparently in his head, and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Okay, so we're going to press here. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved. So that means... you found the body near Lana's desk? That's right. I think you said earlier, it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor? Yes. Anyway. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Otter. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office. That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances, are they? Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd be better off staring at the court record. Worthy, always the smooth talker. One otter is lurking around behind my stuff. It makes me nervous. Which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gant to the incident. I mean... let's see. So we're going to get into evidence law here. If you really had nothing to do with the forgery, then how do you explain this? Well, what's that? And what's that on it? A handprint? Chief Gant, your explanation, please. I don't know. You tell me, son. Huh? My dear Righto, don't you know the second rule of evidence law? Yeah, and it's relevant to this case. Uh-oh, not this again. Evidence law. Rule 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Tell me, how is that rag relevant to this trial? It appears the defense was not prepared. I mean, no, I'm prepared. I guess it's too early to use this piece of evidence. Please accept my profound apologies, Chief. Would you mind giving the defense another chance? Well, okay, I'll do it just this once, but only because you asked, Udgy. Thank you. I assure you the defense is terribly sorry. Yeah. Sorry I didn't nail you. Otter, come here. Come here. Come on, son. You're sitting right next to my network cable, so I don't trust you. Get. Psst. Oh, excuse me. I don't even know how you got there. Go on. Yep, keep going. Off you go. Beep, beep. I don't trust you. After all we've been through, I refuse to let you kill my connection. Oh my god. Alright, so... what do I have? Maybe the evidence list? Because he kept half of the evidence list? But how is that relevant? It's this trial. We gotta... The knife? Because the knife is relevant to this trial, because it was in this trial. It's a really hard call. But then we have to say that the tip of the knife was forged. Which we don't have. We don't have that. We don't have the tip of the knife as a piece of evidence. You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. Yeah, the rag was in his safe. I tried to use the rag and it wasn't time yet. I didn't get punished though. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this list, for example. That's the list Emma Skye drew her picture on. This was discovered in your desk. Not only that, but a piece of this jar that was sitting in your office was found inside your safe. Was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even ride the worthy. So you admit to it then, that you were involved in the forgery. Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured Dick will receive his due punishment. What? What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Evidence of forgery. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. All right, Edgy. In return, though, I know that place, right? What are these guys, telepathic? Alright, we're gonna save, because I'm gonna wade through some garbage. I'm gonna wade through some garbage here. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. I'd appreciate it if you stopped making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped... Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, did you, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're gonna need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Righto's prints are found. Yes, they're found inside my safe. They would prove his investigation was illegal. Ugh. Never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery. I'm not through speaking yet, Righto. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, Sophie's just like, get out of my floof, then they're worthless. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Drake was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The chief is talking about a possibility, so long as you can't rule that out. Your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come now, Righto! Think about it. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? No. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Really, Chief Camp? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would be, of course, be the position you have. Chief of Police. Oh. The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in and of itself is a sufficient motive. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little bit. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway. Yeah. Be careful when pointing that finger or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Gee, would you mind if I changed my testimony a little? By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Nothing in it for you. Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? Yeah. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake. But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you are positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I meant. Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Chief Prosecutor Lana Scott, the defendant. I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved... Excuse me, that's your butt, sir. Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Judge! Killing me, man! Come on! Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. I will say this. There's no way, like, that he didn't know that she had forged evidence. So, he's an accomplice simply because he did not report it. Your motive to appoint her as chief prosecutor so you could control her. Right, oh my boy, you have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana, she's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid, without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. I mean, if the judge was more judgy, it would be half as great. That's true. Also, we do have proof because of the handprint. The handprint that he had in his safe. Unless that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Guzman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Ain't throwing that around, man. Order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder? That's impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. It looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Oh, we're in it together. Let's go, Edgeworth. Let's go. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? that the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. All right then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got. And it better be good. Okay, we're gonna... Save. Save! Save! God! Oh God. Okay. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Oh God. Oh God. Okay. The evidence that ties him to Goodman. That's the problem here. Crap. Technically, this. Because this is the motivation for the blackmail. So that, yeah. Yeah. So. Oh, God. Nope, it's wrong. Well, Chief. So long as Rhino here is tossing out things regardless of their relevance. Mind if I toss something too, Udgy? This shoe should deny. Say, I'll chuck it right at you. You always were quite the joker, weren't you? Oops. Looks like I got it wrong. Don't oops me. Maybe this boot to the head will knock some sense into you. I know it's hard with all that's gone on during this trial. But try to think back to what happened in the evidence room 4 days ago. Now that you mentioned it, we did find something during yesterday's investigation. Something that proves Gant entered that room. Yeah! Looks like he wants another one of your boots, Udgy. Okay, okay. No, I know what to do now. And there's a lot of evidence. It's hard to keep track of this shit. Where is it? It's this way. ID card record! This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7777777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office required a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7-digit? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. Same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Oh, here we go. Yeah, let's go, let's go. I love this music. All right, order, order. Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. ... Chief Gant, so you admit it? You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? ... What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, You had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. Do we have a thing that's like shows about the evidence transfers? Because he was the lead detective on that case? I think it would be this, actually. Executive investigators and head investigator. There you go. All right. I think it's this. No, there's got to be something more solid than this. Detective Goodman had to go see Chief Grant. Sorry. No, why is that not solid? Okay, hold on. I didn't save before this. Crap. You should come meet with me tomorrow. Perhaps we could write up your letter of termination. Regardless, you did see Detective Goodman that day. Alright. Gonna have to ask me for evidence. We're gonna save again, because we keep... Son of a bitch. I refuse. I refuse to give up. It's so late, and I've been streaming for so long, and we are finishing this. I swear to God. Victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. Alright. The memo? Maybe? Man, this is rough. This is rough. I have way too many pieces of evidence right now. Wait. He had to meet with Goodman. Goodman was the only one who could open the evidence locker. No. Fine. You know what? Whatever. We're gonna reload if we die. Might reload even if we don't die. Alright, so it's not that, and it's not that. Oh! The lost item report! You can only submit a lost item report to the Chief of Police. That's this guy. Not Chief of Detectives. Chief of Police. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the Chief of Police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the Chief of Police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait, the Chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes, now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No! Yeah, Edgeworth, let's do it! Bam! Chief Gant, you didn't! The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. I mean, he put him in the trunk, and then Lana was supposed to get him out of the trunk. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time, I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Save! We have very few choices. We have very few attempts left. We are not going to let this go. Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body. Chief can't use this. Alright. He's like, I thought it was a useless piece of evidence. I think it's a parking stub. After all of this time, it's the parking stub. Because the car is how it moved. He broke the lock, put it in the trunk. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. A parking stub? Miles Edgeworth. You mean the body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car? I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. You mean I carried the victim's body? Precisely so. But wait, even you know I didn't plan on returning to my office after the ceremony finished that day. But you did return. Tell me, why? Ugh! I was asked to go. By Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. So you see, what you were really taking to the prosecutor's office wasn't the screwdriver, but the victim's body in your trunk. So good, so good. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief? Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Order! 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 What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photograph of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It's a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had law to dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Oh my god, it's so late. Well, Mr. Wright, Your Honor, do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body. Do I have any concrete proof? We're gonna say yes. We're gonna say yes. It's gotta be there. It's gotta be in there. I can't let him just squirm his way out of this. I've gotta keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor. I do have such evidence. Then please hurry up and present it. Just remember, it better prove Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt. Alright, oh, goodness. We have evidence here. If Lana would stop being blackmailed for 5 seconds. Alright. So we have to, beyond a shadow of a doubt, we have to prove that he murdered him. Final fragment found in the Tag the evidence from the SL9. Sofas. Lay down, fat boy. Okay. Extremely thin rubber glove. Seen a stabbing of destruction of a detective at the PD. Fingerprints. The knife. A knife. The knife? Because it was stolen from the evidence room. So, what exactly is this evidence? It's proof. As to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate the chief's guilt, I'll let you be the judge. But I am the judge. Oh, right. Well, what do you think, Your Honor? I'm going to be late for lunch. As Your Honor. Maybe, you know what? Maybe the answer is I don't. Maybe the answer is I don't have concrete proof. You know what? We only have one attempt left. And we can just reload because we saved. I'm going for it. I have no proof yet. It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. CG. In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, G, I'll leave the rest to you. And he leaves. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to the senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. ... Wah! Lady Luck. Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth? Another witness! In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method is proof is testimony. But Chief Gann has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room, Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth... The defendant. Miss Lana Skye. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body in accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. Oh my god. In 15 minutes we'll reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. Son of a bitch. Hold on. Huh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Listen, good Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. No, she won't. Statute of limitations. This isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Also, he is threatening the witness? Like, he is and he's threatened me? I don't care if he's the police chief. Like, he's threatening people. That should matter. All right, then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Scritch, scritch, scritch. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. God. Stretch. Stretch arms. We stretch. Oh, God. Oh. Man. I know I jinxed it. Fuck. Oh. Okay. It's alright. We're close. I know we're close. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief. He's something else, eh, pals? Detective Goshu. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office. You gonna be a special investigator for me? My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. Could he mean Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How does he always get the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. I don't think he has the hair for it, right? Yeah. Remember what the judge said? But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything, too? Emma! Are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait here? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. That's what I'm saying. It's time to end this. You need me to save right here? Is this what we're going to do? Yes! Delightful! Give me a save right here. Alright. Alright! Ugh, trial ladder 2. Gross. Alright. It is 2:21 p.m. We are supposed to be done with the court right now, but we ain't done. Here we go. Now then, will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course. The truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. We're going to have to fight her every step of the way. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dart convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Nope. Are you sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But, Lana! If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her! She's sacrificing herself because of me! But what if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Cool. You will tell me everything. I am in control of this situation. Worked alongside Gant for years. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Skye were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. She must have been good coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective. That's why. Oh, thank you, Kemprof, for the 10 months in a row. I am going to bed, but we are finishing this first. I refuse to give up. I absolutely refuse to give up. I love you too. I'm not going... No. I'm getting this done. This is gonna get done. There is no truth to this blackmail theory. I have invested too much time today. We are making this happen. I'm slightly delirious. But I'm not dehydrated. I've been drinking a lot of water. But I am slightly delirious, probably. Think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. Yeah, but he was already dead. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Right? No, it's fine. I'm just asleep for a while. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana. So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago? When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. You say you did this all by yourself? Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken Prosecutor Award knife was stuck in the victim's body. What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. All just to protect me. So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, and then moved the body. That seems incorrect. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the wound, and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to just ask for the sake of the others. Why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Pieces of the jar? You mean... Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. I see. ... What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there's more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence? She's lying. She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying. Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone. I've got to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Okay, so, I worked along... Okay, first of all, we're gonna save before we start going through all this. Alright. Oh my god, I'm so tired. Oh. Longest day in the universe. It's okay. It's okay. Whew. Okay. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. Fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. Broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted it inside the wound, and then moved the body. Yeah, apparently she just snapped the tip of the knife off with her bare hands. He wouldn't have been able to write Emma on the surface. Because it was broken. It was broken. Alright, we gotta start somewhere. Ugh. Miss Guy, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Ah. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Order. Order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth toward which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well, the witness may now continue her testimony. Keep going. Jar and message in blood. Let's go. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. Alright, so. Yeah, how did she see the blood traces on the jar if it's like pitch black in the room? I can't see anything if it's that dark in the room. Alright, so we're gonna press. We gotta press. So the jar was already broken. It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. Certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case. Not as feeble as the judge's judgment. You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. But it was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all of the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case. Hana, you do that for me? It seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? Lana, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been in pitch black in that office. A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a ball of emergency luminol wherever I go. I never miss anything. I got every last piece. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene? Yes. I don't have any excuse for my actions. I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I've treated you so badly all this time. It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident. No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of the prosecutor's office. More contradictions had surfaced in her testimony. Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I've finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. God. Okay. Save. Alright. What is our final contradiction that might turn everything around? The final fragment being found in Chief Gant's safe? Let's try that. We're gonna go with our gut. Our gut has been doing good for us. So, if we're gonna go with our gut, we're gonna go with our gut. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. Ha-ha! This guy. I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off of them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up at the scene. Which makes sense, because if they were both in the investigating room, he would have come in right behind him. We only have his word that he went down instead of up. Chief Gant got there before you. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Can you believe that? Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that? No! Whose testimony said that the M in blood was written by the brother? I don't remember. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposely hid one of the broken pieces. It was just a conjecture. I don't know. Question. What is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards. Isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma, and therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the Chief's puppet. Ugh. No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, Wright? So do you tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. All right. The witness may testify once more for the final time. God. It's after midnight. Oh my goodness, hi! Rating with a party of 7. Hi everybody! We are literally right at the end of the DLC. I have been streaming for 11 hours because I thought I could just power through and finish this trial. And I decided to stream 11 hours like a crazy person. So I am half delirious, but well hydrated. And we are right at the end of this. And I really appreciate that you came in. Thanks for the follow. Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much. We love our followers here. What were you playing? Tell me what you were playing. Tell me what you were playing before you came over. I want to know. All right. Actual crime scene. I'm going to take a drink of this water so I can... Oh, thank you so much for the host and the raid. Oh, it's very exciting. Hi, everybody. Oh, Phoenix Wright is so good. Phoenix Wright is so good. I played through all of the first game, and this is the DLC between Game 1 and Game 2. Also, Horizon Forbidden West is gorgeous. I've seen so much of it, and it's beautiful. Oh my god, that game is gorgeous. Lana. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. Had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor sword? You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. ... Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Is it in the evidence book? Is it in the... Oh my god. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you. Hold on. Was it in here? Like, we can't examine this yet. But this is the only thing, either that or this. Those are the things we've gotten today from her. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then. Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. Is it in here? Maybe it's in here. I feel like it's in here. Like, we have this picture, but we took this picture. So it's not that. Oh my god, I'm getting so fired up. It's after mid. I'm gonna be like so adrenaline junkie after this. Oh my god. Yay, I can look at it. Oh. I like the little... Oh, that's so cute. That's very cute. His little cute symbol on the back there. Pio. Oh my god. It was in the book? Hey, there's a picture here. She did say she always has her camera. Oh. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything. Crime scene photo. Stabbed. Mr. Wright! That piece cut out from his vest. The piece is cut out of his vest. It's got the handprint on it. I know, right? More evidence. We're up to over 3 pages worth of evidence. Oh my god. That piece cut out from his vest. Could that be the cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe? Oh, hello. Cat's lurking. What's this? This is a handprint, isn't it? That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whosoever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. What? But those fingerprints, they're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flesh out the real murderer. Very well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination. Because she pushed him. Like, that's why her handprint's on there. Because she pushed him. And that's why Gant cut it off and hid it to use as blackmail. Because, yeah. But I don't know. Yeah. I arrived. I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that assumed armor sword. Oh my gosh. Oh, good. He has returned from lunch. Come now, Udgy. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Chief Gant? What, now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? So I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. ... This must be that risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. Ah, so what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't, but someone does. Someone? So, what's your excuse, Righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? He's talking about the handprint. You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death. Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. Is this true, Mr. Wright? If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. Oh no, it's super dirty. Super dirty. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. If you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? I'd better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that piece of evidence? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, don't mind me, la la la. The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? What is that? Cat's passing by my legs. It's freaking me out. Show evidence, cannot show evidence. This is a really hard call. I think I don't think we can. I know. I don't think we can. Because even that handprint doesn't prove that she killed him. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie! Chief Gant? You opened my safe! I know you took what was inside! The conclusive evidence! I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? He can't testify. Why is he allowed to testify? He's not allowed to testify. I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her. I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that was when she saw the scene, she would ask me for my aid. So you assisted Miss Sky. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence. You mean those items in your safe? But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar, too? Ho, ho, ho. Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept 1 more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Righto, cough it up already. I know you have it. I mean, I have it, but it doesn't conclusively prove that she killed him. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it then, Chief Gant, that you were hiding the cloth you cut off the victim's vest in your safe? Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all, but it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Righto. You should have shown it then before it was too late. It's been a long battle. Yeah, well, no, here's the thing. The specific question we were asked was, do we have conclusive evidence to show who the murderer was? And the answer to that is no, because that piece of cloth is not conclusive evidence. It's been a long battle, but the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. Options. Save. Save. Alright, so I need to look at the court record. I need to look at this piece of fabric. Handprint, oil stained, whoever it was, they must have had a really oily hand. Mr. Wright, think about scientifically. Huh? A more likely explanation is the person slipped and fell on a freshly waxed floor, getting wax all over their hand. Well, that would account for this amount of oil, I guess. I don't see what's so scientific about it, though. It happens, you know? I always slip on the floors at school after they're waxed. Alright. So, we might have to reload if this is a mistake. But we have a full bar. We're going to show it. Your Honor, I do have evidence to present now. Alright then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest? Oh, yes! At last you finally brought it out into the open. There's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that it immediately be sent to the lab for analysis. This handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so cleanly. You mean, it could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Oh, you're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Rhino had all this time to present his evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that. Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well. I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person to whom these fingerprints belong to is, and we're not gonna lie, because we know. Emma? Emma Skye? What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me? Because it doesn't prove anything. Oh ho ho ho! You're really something, Righto. You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. Hold it! How could you? You monster! Miss Skye, you knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. Miss Skye, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. Ha! But I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. I'm not afraid of you. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. I'm just not saying anything. I'm not afraid of you. What's the matter, cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Nothing. I give you nothing. Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh? And what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? Was Emma Skye, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth, what could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. We're gonna say this. I'm gonna see if I can, yep. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. Oh, God. Oh, no. Okay. Wait. The blood! Look, okay. Look at the picture. Look at the picture. Look at the picture. He cut that out of the fucking vest before he bled. He was probably unconscious. He probably got knocked out or something. He probably got knocked out, and then Gant shoved him onto the spear, because you can see where the blood was there, and there's no blood on that cloth. There's only a handprint. There's no blood on that cloth. There's only a handprint. We'll see if it lets me do that, though. What exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Skye took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes. His shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth! Wait. There's no blood on it. Ah! Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. No, this is nonsense. Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armor sword? Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue and make Lana believe her sister did it. Oh, remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. No! It's finally all over. Except it's not. We haven't had a sting. We haven't had the sting. Dun 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 dun. We haven't had that yet. So, here we go. Oh no, it is over. Oh, did we win? Objection! Oh, there it is! There it is! I knew it! Oh, it was close, Righto. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence. Order, order! What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Uji. Earlier, old Righto here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Righto? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of evidence ceased to be legal evidence. That's not fair! Did you actually think you could best me in court? Yes, because when we presented it, if we had presented it earlier, it wouldn't have been relevant for our case now. But when we chose to present it, it was relevant, and that makes it legal. It looks like the last on you, son. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, true, illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? It seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of cloth? I did not. I admit I refused to present it at one point. Aha! So the evidence is illegal! No, it isn't. I set this plan in motion 27 years ago. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, Uji, don't listen to his lies! He's nothing but a coward! You can't really believe. There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Right? That plan's been in motion since I hired Mr. Butts to steal that envelope with $38. Oh my god. Earlier, you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now. Thanks, Lana. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here is the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Sorry, but can you recall? When was that picture presented? That was shown only a few moments ago. No. He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. Person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest? Oh, yes. No! It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer, and there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant, the killer was you. Ooh, he big snapping. Ooh, I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years, he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr, convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you've got to help me. He's a good detective. As much as he's like a Western Wrangler, whatever, he's a good detective. He knew. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden, he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm going to hand all this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it. That accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worried so much about the floor I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint. Down Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer. But everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Ugh. Leaving the prosecution's car aside. How could you get Miss Skye involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So, you left the jar fragments and the glove. Yeah. Looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. Exclamation point. One day you'll understand. Oh, and believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Udgy. What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. ... I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be, long ago. You were once a fine investigator, an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are long gone now, Udgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Wright here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. Wow. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes? First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Skye, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence, up until today. So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Skye. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you just might make it to the top. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Skye. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it! I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Skye. Yes, Your Honor? You are innocent of murder. However, Although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Yay. Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, not guilty. Yay! Huzzah! Jazz hands! That is all. This court is adjourned. We're right there. Guilty of everything else. Yeah, pretty much. Alright, it's 5:03. We're in the lobby again. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended. I can see why Mia Fey thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. You know, I did my best too. But Lana didn't say a single word to me. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals, because that's what I do, because I'm Gunshoe and I interrupt everything. Problematic. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. No, wait. Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run all around while on duty. Top it all off, you call me here. I've seen happy people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope. Not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Lana! Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. ... Well, I won't tell if you won't. I won't tell. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago. Oh, Otter's come back. It was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis, I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. Thought I was doing it for your sake. But now, I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It's the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis. I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. Oh, Emma. Emma. Picture of them hugging. Yay! Oh, as long as this day has been 100% worth it. Just for that. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on towards a brighter future. At least that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe. Me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. So grumpy. Where was he hiding? I just came to say, congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now. Awkward. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth. Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. You despise criminals, I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. It's scary. But I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth... who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said, in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright. And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. Oh, God. Come on, game. You killing me right now. Something that... evidence list. Because half of the list was mine and half of the list was his. That's the picture I drew. Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth. If you'll excuse me. There are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. I mean, she's not. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember. You can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. Seems I owe you my thanks too, right? I know, Edgeworth is like, sentimentality, examining my inner self. I gotta go. But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. Hi, Uther. I know, it's so late. Mom's almost done, I promise. He's glaring at me. I better be going too. Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Oh, it's scientific investigation and it's got the cute ducks on it. Yes! Scientific investigation? It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis, I will. And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Come shoo! Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here's the one who'll be footing the bill. Huh? What? Huh? What? What? You think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Why is everybody spending my money? Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. ... Why is it? Suddenly feel like I want to scream? Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go. Oh, credits. I did it. Oh my god. Oh, I don't know what this universe is. I hope she'd be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days as the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. It's okay, I got it. I got it. Because they're going to do a credit thing, and then they'll do dialogue. I'll read it. No, I got it. I got it. I got it. Oh my goodness gracious. Yikes, I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation in the chief's office. If we penalize you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show you can't shake me off that easy. I mean, I don't know whether they're real credits or not. They're real enough for me to go to bed afterwards. The credits are real enough for me to go to bed after. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's almost 12 hours? Oh my god. My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them, though. Someday I'm gonna make detective. Yes, sir. Then I can be just like that Dick Gumshoe. My god. The choices that you make. I feel like I'm an insane person. My god. He sees into my soul. No, Blue Badger! Ooh. We'll change. I think we'll change gears after this. What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with a steak lunch partner? Miss Star managed to sneak this into me. She's seeing one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, it looks like you did it. You even gave Bambina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? Did you know if you overwater a cactus, you'll kill it? I mean, really any plant, if you overwater it, you'll kill it. But there's a couple of them that are really susceptible. Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu, the Wright Way lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. But orchids and cacti are particularly susceptible to being extremely sensitive to the amount of water that you put into them, especially orchids. Very easy to drown orchids. I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I better be... Huh? Oh no! I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go. Ah, Judge, why? Oh my goodness. After all we've been through, me or Mr. Left. Oh, yeah. Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Hey, Maya. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Mystic Maya. Afternoon training's about to begin. Coming. Well, see you around, Nick. Judge, I thought what we had was special. I liked that there were mini games. Like, there were more, like, little mini games, like the fingerprint dusting and the luminol and stuff like that. I liked that. That was cool. It was, like, not just, I'm gonna click until I find something. Like, there, even though they were kind of simplistic, they were still really cool. Like, I really liked that. Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth? I brought you your tea. What's going on? Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be all right. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Oh, God. Ugh. Pew! It's cute. But... Man, I can never get those 12 hours. So that I've tried to do that before. I've tried to do a 12-hour stream, and I punked out. I tried to do it for my birthday, and I tried to do it on Halloween, and I punked out both times. Although Halloween was really long. I did Corpse Party. That was a really long stream. Played through pretty much the entirety of Corpse Party with, like, a little bit left over. Super, super long stream. So, yeah, no. It's taken a few attempts. Skit, yep, but I did it. So now I'm not gonna do it, but I think that if I hit new game, yeah. So now I just go to the next game because that was it. Oh my God. We will play the next game, but it's gonna be a hot minute. I think I might do Garden Story next. I don't know. I need to do something where I stab things with a sword for a while, and it's not me doing analytical puzzles, so I need to go. I need to stab stuff. Thank you so much. Wow. Okay. Um, Thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with me. This is amazing. Oh my god, I'm so full of adrenaline, but also exhausted and like half awake and ugh. I need food in bed. I need food in bed. Alright, so any of you who are going to stay awake, I actually will send you on to my friend Hexetra, who's playing Elden Ring. So we'll you can go hang out with Hexetra. I gotta go to bed. But we will send you on. So have a good night. Go hang out with my friend Hexetra. Have a good night.